Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Tim here. I'm here to kind of last minute entry. Seems to be what I do, but that's okay. I wanted to show support. I wanted to show support for Rachel, the MusicMAM. Rachel's kind of a newer member of the VC, and watched some of Rachel's videos and been really impressed with what I see. Rachel was on a push to get to 100 subs, which I think now she's at 180. I think the last I looked. So that's a great job. Congratulations. And Rachel asked of us to kind of share 5 gender bending songs, artists, musicians, um, albums, whatever the case may be, where there was that maybe non binary. Maybe it wasn't just as simple as black and white. I do have on display behind me probably one of the biggest pushes of androgyny in rock, Mr. David Bowie, and then also Prince as well. Very talented, but definitely blurred the lines in fashion. I remember the first time I saw Prince was on a show called Midnight Special. It's kind of like Variety, but it was more just music, and he was scantily clad in tall leather boots, high heels, thigh-high stockings, and it was definitely a visual, a shock. But I don't remember really there being a backlash. It was pretty much accepted. Didn't help that, didn't hurt that Prince was mega talented. So I did some digging. I've got a couple pieces here. I couldn't find a couple CDs or 45, so I'll just have to talk on them. Um, what I'm playing in the background, I think everyone's kind of gone to this one, is the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Um, Obviously, probably one of the most famous pieces of film that has to do with, that blurred line. And this was a huge part of, I think, a lot of people's high school and young adult going into the 20s, the college years. Um, I remember seeing this in high school, seeing it a lot in high school, and in fact, at one of my uh, birthday parties, because my birthday is right around Halloween, one of my good friends at the time made his Rocky debut at my party. Sure as hell scared grandma. So, uh, Rocky Horror, we're listening to it. Obviously, a lot of people have used it, but I'm going to jump on the bandwagon as well. Another one, I have a 7-inch for it, couldn't find it. Lola from the Kinks, obviously, very classic story of man meets Lola. But Lola's not quite Lola. We know the words, we know the song, we don't really need to dwell on that one. Another one, and this is kind of a soundtrack to the movie, and I thought we had the movie. If you had to put money on it 5 minutes before I shot this film, when I was looking through the movies, I would have said, "Oh, of course I have it." My wife even said the same thing. Yeah, we don't know where it is, but we do have the soundtrack. I've loved this movie since the original, not just because it's a great film about one of my city that's near and dear to me, Baltimore, and that's Hairspray. Now this is generally played. The role of Edna Turnblad is generally played by Divine, who was a famous crossdresser, and then all subsequent releases pretty much have had to follow suit, including the musical movie version with John Travolta in that role. So, a couple other ones that I thought I'd mention that I don't have. Like I said, I thought I had this. I couldn't find the CD for Blur. Blur has a famous song, "Girls and Boys." Girls who are boys, who like boys to be girls, who do boys like their girls, who do girls like their boys. And it's very much a part of that whole song and that whole feel is the blurred lines of, not necessarily cross-dressing, but gender identity. And another one that jumped to mind, which I think was eventually released on a comic, but originally it was just a single. It was by Hull. It was a song called "My Beautiful Son," and that was actually written by Courtney Love and her band about Kurt Cobain. Kurt Cobain was very out and vocal about when he was younger, he would cross-dress, and even kind of spilled into, even during the fame of Nirvana, he would show up on stage in a dress, and that wasn't unheard of. And it was considered very punk attitude, but obviously felt very comfortable in that. And then the last one I was going to mention, and I knew I didn't have a copy of this because I'm kind of holding out for an earlier press, and I don't, it's one of those few things that's like you got to be picky on. Is Madame George by Van Morrison. Now he has said it is not about Madame George is not about a cross-dresser, but for so long it was believed, and that kind of fits in with the motif of things aren't as binary as they always are. So, hopefully there's tons of other great examples out there, and I've been trying not to watch many because I don't want to be influenced. But there are a lot of influences in rock music or popular music, about this blurred lines in gender roles, and it's important, I think, to get it out there even more as people try to identify how they feel comfortable. Obviously, being in Orlando and the community at large here with the tragedy a few years back at Pulse, it's very open and it's very welcoming. We do believe in love is love, not just in our household, but in our city. And I think it's very important. So, wanted to get on, show you some support. Best of luck. Hopefully your channel continues to grow. This was actually a lot of fun. I'd be interested to see if I can come up with some more, but that'll be more for personal fun. So, thanks for watching, everybody. Appreciate it. If you're not familiar with Rachel's channel, The MusicMAM, there will be a link down below. Please go check it out. Until then, hopefully I'll be back soon with not so many contest entries and maybe having final finds or 6 because I got a lot of stuff stacking up. So I'm sure we'll see each other soon. Everybody take care. Remember, love is love. Peace.